And all right, so we're streaming, but the show's not live, right? We're in pre-show right now.
Woo!
Streamed pre-show.
We're doing it live.
Doing it live.
So yeah.
But
have you beat Valkyria Chronicles?
No, I'm not.
Get it together. Come on.
And I just picked up a new game today too.
What the fuck was that?
It is a music game and a rhythm game. And I'm really excited to try it out. But I need to do more on Valkyria Chronicles before I can. Because I know I need to.
Have you played the DLC for Xenoblade, John?
Hold on, I gotta take Tylenol.
No, how dare you self-care?
No, don't do it.
So that I, will be able to actually show up Friday.
Yeah.
Because that would be kind of important.
Oof.
Just a little.
Yeah. No, I haven't played it at all. Because, I still have Octopath.
Yeah.
Warcraft. We were playing through Overcooked.
You can play Warcraft anytime, though.
Well, I mean, I can play through Torna, or whatever the expansion's called, anytime as well.
Oh yeah. I'm just mean WoW just stays the same forever.
I haven't started Hollow Knight.
God, and I thought my eye was bad.
I
mean, because I still have Octopath too.
Yeah.
I'm still going through that, but yeah.
And then
I've been thinking about getting a new Dragon Quest. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel like playing a big RPG, but
yeah,
I don't know if I'm not sold on it.
And then I've actually been enjoying Fortnite, just in little bits and pieces here and there. Yeah, I know. I know. But yeah, it's something for play 3 matches and then I'm done.
Yeah.
And just do that. It's been a lot of in between things. I'll do a match while waiting for soup to cook.
Well, and now with the new season, you can cross-play with people who have PlayStation.
Yeah, but I don't care about that.
If you had anybody that played PlayStation.
I wouldn't do it. Use a mouse and keyboard so I could wreck people who are using controllers.
Yeah. I've actually found so when I'm on, it's because it's still the 50 versus 50. Yep. So when I'm on the winning team, it's usually I have 0 kills and don't find anybody whatsoever.
What?
And then if I lose, it's because, or if I get killed, it's because my team was getting wrecked. And we were already down 20 people, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So it's fine. It's actually fine. It's one of the things that I enjoyed most when watching PUBG videos was the people that would get first, second, third, or top 10 or whatever by virtue of the fact that they got lost and they couldn't find anybody else. I mean, my favorite video is when the Frog Pants guys got second place with 0 kills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they just did not encounter anybody during the entire game. And all the other people were killing each other off and got lost outside the circle and stuff like that.
My students are trying so hard to get me to play Fortnite.
Don't do it, dude. No. Don't do it.
Every day I tell my students your homework is not to play Fortnite. That is every day.
Yeah. It's one of the things where I can see the reason why a lot of people are going so hard on it. Because it's got that thing almost because the matches are number one, they're short enough, and then number two, if you get eliminated, you can just hop out and then hop right back in, and then you're just oh, I'll do better next time. I'll do better next time, kind of a thing. Like, Heroes would have that appeal if the matches were shorter.
They are super short. I don't know what you're talking
Well,
about.
they're already short for MOBAs, but I mean,
it's
Fortnite
a short
match.
For a MOBA, but yeah,
a Fortnite match might be like 10 minutes.
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
I can deal with 20, 25-minute matches.
Yeah. For me,
What, you don't like a nice hour-long game?
No, just to get fucking crushed in Dota or League. Dota was worse than League, I felt. I felt Dota games longer.
For me,
yeah, at my school's computer club, it was always you give yourself an hour for a 5v5 and a half hour for a 3v3.
Oh, also, let's see if the new bot that I set up for Discord actually posted.
Bot?
I set up a bot to post an announcement.
I'm also not sold on Mega Man yet either.
You're not?
Looks good, but I'm not paying $30 for a game I'm gonna beat in a day.
Yeah.
No, it didn't post, so I'm just gonna close that out and not deal with it. That's mildly irritating. That I spent maybe like an hour and a half trying to set up a bot for Discord that would just auto post when we stream.
Yeah.
Nope. All right.
I was watching some gameplay. They were just breezing through the levels so quickly. It's like, it's just gonna be such a short game, unless you do like achievements and stuff like that, which I'm.
Yeah.
Got Red Dead coming up soon.
Yep.
That's the thing. We're getting into game release season.
We are getting into major release season.
And so
Spider-Man didn't really. I don't know. It didn't really tickle my grundle.
Really?
Did you just honestly, seriously? Did you just?
Yeah, it looks cool, but I don't know. For whatever reason, just wasn't super into it.
Yeah, no.
Did you guys see Between the
Soul
Sheets?
Calibur's coming up. I'll get Soul Calibur when that comes out.
Yeah.
What was that?
Did you guys see Between the Sheets?
Yeah. I listened to it today while I was playing Heroes.
Laura was this week.
Oh no, I haven't. No.
YouTube just went up today, I think.
Okay, maybe I'll watch it tonight.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Anybody see the new Spider-Man Enter the Multiverse trailer?
I did.
Pretty cool.
It's got Nick Cage.
Nick Cage. Oh,
Nick Cage is he's the noir Spider-Man.
Yeah. And who's Spider-Ham? What's his name? John Mulaney.
Yeah.
Oh, he's really funny.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
There's this number from Springfield that keeps trying to call me, and it's like, I don't know.
It's not Malone.
No, but it's the yeah. John Mulvaney. Maybe
something like that.
Something around that. Yeah.
Maybe. Well, that's not. There we go. There's the dashboard. There's the stream dashboard. All right.
My boss told me to dress for the job you want, not the dress you have. And now I'm in a disciplinary meeting dressed as the King of Gondor.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple times circulated around this week.
Yeah.
So the problem is like by the time like other people see memes, I've seen them like a half a dozen times because of the Frog Pants Facebook groups. Because it's like a couple hundred people. So, all right.
What's even coming out soon?
What do you mean? What's even coming out soon? Everything is coming out soon.
Meaning, is there anything interesting?
I'm getting weird internet spikes. Like occasionally it'll drop down. Here, I'm gonna close BattleNet and Steam. Let's see if that helps.
Idea.
That might be.
Which I don't know if it will or not, but theoretically, my internet got automatically upgraded for free to 100 megabits per second. So
theoretically,
I mean, I received a written statement in the mail that it did. So
yeah.
But yeah, I've been noticing some weird spikes lately. So I don't know, I may have to reboot my router after we do this. But
why don't you just do it now before we get started?
Because we're already streaming.
Oh
yeah,
we've been streaming this whole time.
Yeah, dude, we're in pre-show.
Yeah, we streamed the pre-show. Yeah.
General Kenobi.
Yeah, it looks like I've dropped 459 frames. That's not good. That's weird.
That's weird.
Yeah. I don't know what else could be downloading stuff. Here, I'm gonna disconnect my phone from the network just in case. Oh, you know what? I'll be right back. Let me check the Switch.
Okay.
Because it had started downloading Overcooked 2.
That'll do it.
But I figured it would have been done by now, because that was like an hour and a half ago.
I mean, it should have been.
So I'm gonna go check on that and see if I can pause that, if that would fix the problem.
Yeah. Actually, that reminds me, there was a new Nintendo Direct. Nindy highlights.
No, it had already finished.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll have to just diagnose it later. But all right. How about we get started?
I guess.
Sure.
Okay. So, going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming up on episode 115, Dragalia Lost launches, Wheel of Time gets greenlit, R.L. Stine returns with more spooky tales, and much, much more on the 8-Bit Adventures podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 8-Bit Adventures podcast, bringing you the latest and greatest geeky news of the week. I'm your host, Sean Hayes, and my wonderful co-hosts, as always, Courtney Bolin.
Hey, everybody.
And Josh York.
Catchphrase.
Catchphrase!
I had nothing. I have nothing clever this week.
Yeah.
No, you already used your good one earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have some exciting news.
Yes.
Exciting 8-Bit Adventures news that we're going to cover later on in the show. So why don't we get right into sort of the news topics of this week, and then we can get to the real juicy stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, like Enhancement Shaman's got a 5% overall buff. That's the juicy stuff. We really need to talk about this because Enhancement Shaman's been waiting for this all expansion. We've been not that great. And we're finally getting our comeuppance here, and we're back in it, boys and girls. We're back on the DPS charts. Actually, not really. We still kind of suck, but it's okay.
So here's my question: Is it viable? Right?
Oh yeah.
Because
I beat everybody in damage.
Because
I'm saying everyone else.
You know, I stopped caring as to where stuff ranks in terms of like DPS. as long as it's not like if it's within a couple percentage points, that's fine, and that's usually the case.
They just got a little mini buff on a hot fix yesterday. I have no idea. 5%. I mean, once you're getting up into high damage per second numbers, 5% starts really adding up when the big numbers. Obviously, that's how percentage.
Yeah, but what I mean is like if the top competitive spec is like 2% higher than the bottom, like does it really matter that much which class you bring?
I mean, I'm sure it puts us back into. I mean, I don't know. I'm not. I'm not in method, so I don't know what like world first progression is like.
None of us are in method, so none of us care.
Yeah. You don't know that. I might be.
You are not in method. You have a life outside of World of Warcraft.
You don't know that. It's all sham. It's a sham to cover up my.
I'm method.
No, you're not method either, Courtney. The fact that you are both here on the stream right now points to the fact that you are not in that raiding guild.
They already world firsted out.
Yeah. Also, point of clarification. So the little turtle quest, right? That the turtle made it into the water.
Ugh,
those are not baby turtles, or tortolans. They're just turtles.
They're just.
And why do they care?
Because they have souls. Because
sometimes the cycle of life can be cruel.
Because it is a real world allegory for the fact that humanity has wreaked devastation upon sea turtle populations, and as such, little baby turtles need help getting to the ocean.
No. Yes. Just natural predators are killing them when they're going to the water. This has nothing to do with people.
No.
That's why I'm saying it's an allegory for real world turtle problems, which is because of habitat destruction and
hashtag humans did nothing wrong in IRL.
Oh, that is so not true. Don't argue with me about turtle stuff. I will.
I'm gonna do that quest and just not. I'm just gonna let them all die. I'm just gonna sit there AFK and let.
I mean, if that's really how you want to spend your time,
I don't have to spend any time. I can just tab out and do something else.
Sure. I mean, you'll log out. You'll auto log out after 15 minutes.
True.
Because that's what happens. But
I haven't done dailies. Oh my god, I don't do them anymore. They're worthless.
Haven't done your dailies?
Nope. Unless it's Champions of Azeroth.
I haven't been logged. I haven't logged in at least a couple days. Since I have been basically bitten by the Fortnite bug. So.
Yeah.
See,
told you not to get too close to that.
Some raiding Saturday.
That's fine.
Did some.
I have also been. I've produced like a piece of artwork almost every night for like the past 4 nights.
I was gonna say you've also been pounding
and
away.
And I have more to do. So that's primarily why, is because I can't do both. But I'll get a break every now and again, and I'll play like 3 matches, and then that'll be it. But anyway, none of that stuff is part of the news for the week. As we have actual more exciting stuff like, so Dragalia Lost is Nintendo's latest mobile game offering. This is
mobile games aren't exciting.
It's some kind of weird action RPG, which sounds weird for mobile. And it almost seems like a weird breath. It seems like it has Breath of Fire influences in that your characters they're people that can turn into dragons.
Maybe in that, but the gameplay didn't see.
No, just the people turning into dragons in a fantasy world involving royalty and stuff like that, like that you bind to dragons or whatever. That's just what it reminded me of. But yeah, and it is a gacha game, which is basically it has loot boxes, is what that means.
Yep.
Where you spend premium currency to summon heroes.
It is every mobile game.
Yeah. What makes it different than, say, like Fire Emblem Heroes, which is the same mechanic, is when you summon in this game, is you don't just get, characters. You could also get items or, I don't know, other stuff, equipment or whatever. So unfortunately, if you're unlucky, is you might not get any characters, and you might get like a bunch of equipment and items that you can't use because you don't have people to equip them to.
Usually in those types of games, I sometimes will play those games just because I don't know, if you have like a free minute and you're not doing anything, it's just like a time killer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of like hero collection games like that, specifically if it's an IP I'm into. So I play some of the Final Fantasy ones. I just the other week I started playing the Idle Champions, the D&D one.
Yeah.
But usually what happens specific, like in the Final Fantasy ones I play, you usually get the characters you like, and then you don't you don't care about any other characters. You get your
you're looking
party
for
that
specific
you like.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, I will say that though, there's enough different characters in Final Fantasy. It's like, oh, sometimes I want to switch it up because there's a lot of characters I like. But I don't know. That game seemed pretty standard mobile fare to me. It seemed just like every other mobile RPG.
Yeah, the
hero
art
collector.
style wasn't really doing it for me. It was like it wasn't distinctive. I mean, like it's not bad. It just didn't have some sort of individual flair for me.
Anime.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not bad. It's just there is a plethora.
It's derivative and it's redundant and it's just
there's a plethora of other offerings that have that same art style, so it doesn't really stand out.
I'll take that. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's like you say chibi like it's a bad thing.
I mean, as we know, my feeling on cute things isn't really not my realm.
Yeah.
Generally.
No, you're not. You don't do cute.
My students told me I was a bit dark and brutal the other day because I forgot what I said something in class. My students like, you're a little off. Yeah, sorry.
Did they seriously say that?
Yeah, they said no. They said you're really brutal. That was what they said. Because I used a word in a sentence. I think the word, like I was doing a spelling because the word was motivations. I was like, oh, her motivations for the murder were unclear, or something was the sentence I used.
That's a bit dark, dude.
Kids are like, what are you talking about? I was like, I'm just using it in a sentence. I wanted a good sentence.
No, dude, that's a bit dark. Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good.
But yeah, so that's Dragalia Lost, available right now.
Yeah.
I think it's available on both the App Store and the Google Play Store, but I think it's US only kind of a thing for the Google Play Store. It's weird. Like if you live in Canada, you have to like download some Android APK thing. I don't know. I
occasionally do that with a mobile game. I get off the Google Store because like your version of Android doesn't take it, and they're like, okay, I'll download the APK and it works.
Yeah,
like the Idle Champions does that. I had to download the APK. It crashes occasionally, but not enough where I'm like, oh, it's not playable.
Yeah, I will say it only has a 3.5 rating on the Google Play Store right now.
Ooh, although that may be for the loot box kind of mechanics.
It says it's for the gameplay and the controls mostly.
All that too. I mean, anytime you're trying to do an action game, on a touch screen is a little
out
dicey.
of 11,000 is where it's averaging it.
Yeah.
Do either of you play any mobile games consistently? Just curious.
I play
on your phone.
I will on and off play Fire Emblem Heroes.
Yeah.
But again, it's a thing where I will log in occasionally when they do an event and you get a bunch of free summons to try and get, because there are heroes that are clearly the best and I haven't gotten them yet. So I will log in, try and get them, and if I don't, whatever.
I still play Oz Kingdom pretty steadily. We talked about that when I first got it. And then I play a bunch of like Solitaire and Crosswords and Fox Evolution. I have a lot of puzzle games because I like puzzles.
It's tough right now because like between the Switch and the 3DS is, I'd often just rather bring that because I don't have any mobile games really that are like pick up and play for like 2-3 minutes and then put it back down. And I know I looked for Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms in the App Store, and it's not on there. I think as of right now, it's Steam only. Officially Steam only.
No, you can get it on Android, I think.
You can get it on Android? That just seems weird to me that they... Idle Champions is what it's called.
of the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
My device isn't compatible with this version.
That's what it said on mine too, but I downloaded an APK and it works.
Yeah. But I mean, it is in the Play Store.
Right, but that doesn't help me.
Yeah.
You know?
I know it doesn't help you, Mr. Apple. But
yeah, mobile games kind of suck.
They kind of do.
I mean, some of them are like fun little time killers. Like again, when I was in Korea and I had to take a bus an hour to work some days, it was like I could kill time. You want to know a game that's coming out on the Switch that I had played on mobile? It's called The World Ends With You. If you're familiar with that.
Yeah, that was originally a DS game.
Yeah. And they're releasing it on the Switch recently, but I remember I started playing that for a while. I never finished it, but it's a kind of a cool game. It's upcoming. There's a Star Wars game I played on my tablet quite a bit a year or two ago. It's like called Star Wars Force Arena or something. It's almost like a MOBA.
Yeah.
And it was actually kind of cool. It was enjoyable. I stopped playing it because it was just so hard to unlock stuff in it. There's just such a lot of gating. Which is
I mean,
the case with a lot of those
it's also I have enough like productivity type stuff that I often have to do, or I'm often doing in my free time on my phone that
I ain't got anything to do.
Well, I say productivity, but it might be like, you know, I need to post when the next show is, or post artwork that I recently did, or
I'll tell you, a lot of my idle champions time is when I'm on the toilet. That's if I'm being real. If I'm being really real.
Yeah.
That's what I want in a mobile game. I want a mobile game that, you know, I gotta take a dumperooski, you know, and I need 10 minutes to play something on my phone.
Yep.
I'm either swiping on Tinder when I'm taking a dump, or I'm playing some type of dumb mobile game.
Differences. Wow.
Yep.
That's just like nope.
So
nope. Usually I'm on Imager.
This is real life. I can't be the only one.
Oh, wait, I have Pokemon Go. I still play Pokemon Go occasionally.
Oh, yeah. There needs to be, and I should develop this, there needs to be some type of like MMO or D&D type augmented reality, like Pokemon Go type game.
D&D Go?
Not just D&D, but you know, some type of fantasy RPG or some like MMO or something where you could like group up with other people and do dungeons, or you could PvP other people or something along those lines.
It would sound like it would be fun.
I mean, part of the problem with the dungeon thing is that how would that work in an AR game?
Well, that's also exactly. I just kick an idea. I don't know how that works in a practical sense. It's just, but that's what
He's just
like.
an ideas man. He's not a follow it through guy.
I'm a producer. I'd be a producer. I wouldn't be like a programmer or a designer. I'd just be a producer. I just sit there and tell people what I think I want, and they make it. That would be my role.
Funny thing, that's not how it works, as I found out. Because I was trying to do the same thing when I was studying game design, and I was like, what do you mean game designers like are basically somebody that has to like flip between every department, helping out with every department? So like you have to know design and art skills and like texturing and coding and everything. Because you are basically a project lead, right? And you know you typically don't get hired to do that right off the bat.
Well, obviously,
is you have to start somewhere and then you work your way up to that. But unless of course you are a one-man show, like one Concerned Ape, maker of Stardew Valley. So he just provided a quick update on Twitter. He tweeted out that the multiplayer update for the Nintendo Switch is currently in QA. So
which is
also just one dude who made Undertale.
Yep. Yeah.
Quick question: what is QA?
Quality assurance.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's basically
beta testing.
Alpha testing.
Alpha testing. Okay.
Yeah. So it's usually like closed alpha testing. and working with like internal play testers. So this would be like play testers provided by Chucklefish. And the purpose is to make sure that like a lot of bugs get ironed out and everything. I mean, if you check the Stardew Valley subreddit, you find there are still quite a number of issues that prop up with multiplayer, so I'm sure they want to get those ironed out. But yeah, so once this update's rolled out, then work will begin on either Xbox or PlayStation. I don't know which one's after that. So, yeah.
I don't know, but I'm excited. So does that mean that you, Sean, playing on your PC and me playing on my Switch will be able to multiplayer?
No,
Okay.
It's not crossplay.
It's not crossplay. Okay.
No, that is due to the limitations in having essentially one person plus a publishing studio work on the netcode
Stardew
board.
Valley. Can you like PvP and wreck somebody's farm?
Well, you all live on the same farm.
No.
But you could wreck it.
I mean, you could wreck your own farm, but
you can in fact wreck your own farm, yeah.
But I mean, I could do that now.
But technically, you could form a party and go into the mines and go on a Zelda-style multi-person adventure to slay monsters.
That's
my
what, 4 Swords, right? Isn't that 4 Swords?
It's a little bit like 4 Swords.
No.
Yeah.
Going
or
into
Terraria, you could do that.
Yep.
Because Stardew kind of looks like Terraria to me.
Oh my gosh. I just got so many amazing ideas of like going down.
I mean, it doesn't have boss monsters like Terraria does, but that's fine.
Nah, but
fine.
you
bosses got a little overwhelming for me in Terraria, to be honest. Like you get to the point where it's just there's so much stuff going on screen, and monsters are flying all over the place at high speeds, and it basically just becomes roll the dice and see if you just like as you're flying around the screen shooting lasers everywhere, whether or not you actually hit the boss before you get hit. Literal rocket tag.
just like wildly flailing.
Yeah. But so yeah, there is no set release date for that. But if it's in QA, we could expect, maybe within the next couple of months.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Still,
so
I mean, it might actually make me want to play the one that I have on Steam that I bought, and then.
Well, so yeah. The multiplayer for PC is currently live.
Okay.
Yeah. Switch is the first console to get multiplayer.
Nice.
Yeah. Shifting gears a little bit, away from video games. New graphic novel series from one R.L. Stein and Boom Studios coming in September 2019. It's going to be a young adult graphic novel series called Just Beyond, and it's in the same wheelhouse as Goosebumps. So it's a lot of like paranormal sort of thriller / horror type stories that are aimed at young adults. But it's just in a graphic novel format instead of a traditional sort of paperback novel.
Graphic novels are really popular right now with kids.
Well,
yeah,
I guess that's I could say that at any point in time. I gotta.
Yeah,
well, here's the thing though. Like,
here's my empirical evidence and experience here.
Whoa, we're busting out some real science.
Science.
Empirical science. It's just what I've seen. So when I see kids, I don't know. This is weird for me because I always loved reading, so I find it weird that kids hate to read. A lot of kids really don't like reading, but to read, there are a lot of books that are just graphic novel books.
Yeah,
I think more now than when I was a kid.
Absolutely,
it didn't seem like there were any of these.
Yeah,
that they gravitate to those much more readily than a book like The Hobbit or something like that.
Who doesn't like pictures?
No, I get it.
Yeah.
It's not even the pictures. I think it's just word density. A lot of kids, and I don't know if this is actually true or not. It's just like they see something dense or that it feels dense, and they're like, "No, I can't. Either I can't do this, or I don't want to do this, and it might be a combination of both.
Yeah.
It's just,
I think part of the thing is because I agree that there was not the sort of plethora of nor the diversity of graphic novels growing up, and
I mean there wasn't I think sense of like Marvel and that, like those graphic novels.
Yeah, and I think it's just the fact
specifically
but
targeted.
Not like, but yeah, and not like novels. Like you're getting actual books that have been converted to graphic novels in some of them.
Right, like I don't know if you're familiar. This is it's called Smile Sisters Ghosts. They're all done by the same author.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and particularly with girls in my class, I teach 6th grade. They love those graphic novels. I have a set of them in my room, and they're always asking to borrow those way before they go for any other book. It's like the only things they'll read.
Mm-hmm.
And you would look at it; it looks like a normal novel, but when you open it up, it's a graphic novel.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think that also goes to show how we're growing up and how like generationally we're giving our kids more like, hey, you're gonna be able to visualize this better and take it in better, because I know I can always take in something a little bit better if it does have pictures, if it does have illustrations instead of 6 paragraphs describing each of the characters.
I just think it's a further extension of the comics genre, right? Because it's sort of taking superhero stories, right, and then evolving them further to encompass something a little more sophisticated, we'll say. Not to say that like comic stories are like unsophisticated,
depends.
But Watchmen, it really depends.
Watchmen is top 100 books period of the last century.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, like, my first graphic novel that I ever read was actually one about Hurricane Katrina.
So I think
like stuff that happened there.
I think it's just because of comics is that it kind of lent itself to just a different format, right? Where it's instead of these quick, because comics, you get them in trades where they're like single issue. They might be like 30 pages.
Well, usually a trade is multiple issues and put into one book. So usually it's like 5 issues.
Yeah, so you get issues and then trades.
Unless not always, because some trades are big. So if you went and got Civil War, Marvel Civil War, that's a pretty thick trade because there were a lot of issues. Same with like if you got Secret Wars or Infinity Gauntlet or whatever, because those were pretty long running. Pretty long runs of comics, so those trades. But so like the Miss Marvel ones I get for my classroom, they're about 5 issues per.
Yeah.
But again, that's it's a pretty new run on Miss Marvel. Mm-hmm. So like maybe eventually they'll have the big trades if they do that. But but it depends on the series. Yeah, I worry a little bit with the graphic novel thing because yes, I encourage reading of graphic novels. But there is something, I think, to be said for reading actual books and learning to read things that are a bit denser because, I don't know, I worry that as they grow into adulthood that they don't get that skill early enough. They just get into that, particularly read headlines and don't read actual articles mentality. Like, less. I don't know.
We see that among older generations as well, though.
Yes, that is also true.
So,
I don't know. It's just a worry that always passes through my head, particularly because I am an English teacher.
Yeah,
I think reading is super important to understanding the world.
My own personal take is just writing stories that are interesting to kids.
Oh yeah, that's
and
why
just
and
adults.
I encourage a lot of the graphic novels, and that's why I try to fill my classroom library with good graphic novels, not just fluff.
Yeah,
like pulp.
Well,
BS,
I'm thinking of like standard novels and stuff. So I mean, like Goosebumps. Goosebumps is great, right? Because like, what kid doesn't?
I read
What kid doesn't love
a lot of
Goosebumps?
Goosebumps.
Right?
Dude, my favorite thing in school when I was in elementary school was scholastic book orders.
Oh my
Yes.
My
gosh,
teacher would
that
hand
was
those
the
out,
best.
and I would sit there and circle all the stuff I wanted, bring
Mhm.
it to my mom or dad, say, I want all these books. They're like, we can't afford the whole thing.
Yeah.
Pick like one. I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
So
And it was usually like a Goosebumps package where you get a Goosebumps book or 2 Goosebumps book and like some other spooky story books or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And I must have read the first 30, 35 Goosebumps, all of them,
Mhm.
when I was between
Wow.
11 and 12.
Yeah.
Like in 5th and 6th grade. I couldn't tell you any of the stories now. I hardly remember them. I probably remember the covers of the books.
Yeah.
That's what I
See,
remember.
that's funny because I did the I read the Fear Street series by R.L. Stine, and that was, I still remember those stories, and those stuck. Because
I was
those were much
also
more
But I was also a
those
pretty voracious reader when I was a kid.
Yeah, I my school had the Redwall series, and when I was in 4th grade, we started passing those around my class.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
those
I was a weird kid and read almost exclusively nonfiction until junior high, with the
interesting.
exception of Goosebumps, because my brother was a big fan of Goosebumps, and so like I would pick it up and read it as well. But like, yeah, like Redwall, I did not read.
I've never
I'm
read
trying to think.
Redwall.
I'm trying to think of what else was
Have you read
popular.
it?
No.
One of the
Read
first
it.
big books I ever read was Michael Crichton, The Lost World.
Wow.
When I was like 11, my mom had read it, and I
like
really like Jurassic Park.
you
So
know, I
I was
didn't
like,
read The
maybe
Hobbit
this
or Lord of
gives
the
me an
Rings until
adult
high
novel.
school.
Yeah, I read
Oof.
The Hobbit. I was lucky. I had an English teacher in my freshman year that made us read The Hobbit, and none of the other freshman classes read it. Like we were the one odd class that had this English teacher that nobody else had.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Shaw was his name. If you're out there, Mr. Shaw, thank you. You actually were one of the inspirations to spur me on my path. But he had us read The Hobbit, and that was actually when I really got into fantasy, was kind of reading that, and he encouraged me to go ahead and read Lord of the Rings. He's like, oh yeah, there's a story after this. And
Yeah, my
that's why I
dad
started reading The Rings
actually
and all that stuff. It's
yeah,
cool.
my dad actually made me read The Hobbit after because I wanted to actually rent the movie, the animated one. And he's like, no, you got to read something first. And so he made me read The Hobbit, and then he would let me rent the video.
Dude, geez,
Like,
there's one student I have who reads like crazy. Like in the middle of my class, he's reading books, and I feel bad for yelling at him to put it away, but there's other stuff we have to do.
Yeah.
But
like,
I let him take my copy of The Hobbit last week, and he was done with it yesterday. He finished it in less than a week.
oh my gosh.
Granted, it's not an incredibly long book.
Yeah.
And
It's not,
it's like
but
250
you
pages
know.
or so. But I went out
The
the other
real
day and got
test
him
is Lord of the Rings.
Well, I gave that to him today. I gave him Fellowship today.
Because that's just Lord of the Rings is super dense.
I have them.
Because that's Tolkien style.
Well, it's Lieutenant so and so, who is the brother of Prince blah 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 from the East, and his father was king of this.
It's like reading the Old Testament.
Whatever.
Well, and that's the other thing why I think graphic
line.
novels. But that's the other thing why I think graphic novels are really taking off again, because you don't have to have all of that backstory. Again, you don't have the 6 paragraphs describing what somebody looks like.
You don't. But here's
visualized right there.
It's important to learn visualization in writing, though.
No, I completely agree.
And I think students, again, my experience as a teacher, students aren't great at descriptive or detailed writing because and I don't know if this is true, I feel like they don't read enough to get enough, they don't see it enough to kind of, again, I think back to myself, I'm like, oh, why did I always do so well in school? And why did I like I was always an okay writer? Like, I think it's because I read a lot and I kind of copied and borrowed, like I do now. When I DM, I steal everything and incorporate it into my own and morph that into my own style. But same thing when I was writing in school and even in college and to this day, like I steal other people's writing styles and incorporate it into the way I write. I don't know. Again, it could just be me imagining things and making up things to worry about, which is perfectly.
I think that is a valuable skill that you're right.
Don't get me wrong. I think graphic novels are super, super great, and they're a different mode of media.
Yeah.
But that's all it is. It's just a different mode of media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to overtake. I don't think it ever will.
I don't think it will.
I'm
I'm sorry, but if a Kindle
don't
can't
think so.
overtake real books, if a Kindle can't overtake real books,
Right.
Well,
I don't think that graphic novels are going to take over.
I think that's an entirely separate issue.
Hold off on that.
Yeah. That is best saved for another time. But not right now, because our last bit of news, speaking of books. Yeah.
Speaking of dense books.
Dense books. Wheel of Time. So Amazon has greenlit the Wheel of Time TV series based on the novels.
Have either of you ever read the series?
God, no.
Oh, I have.
Okay. No.
Dense.
So my roommate at one point, shout out to Ogre, also known as John Henry, was a huge fan of Wheel of Time. But yeah, no, I have not read it.
I wouldn't call myself a huge fan of it. It's good. It's not the best thing I've ever read. It's super high fantasy.
Yeah.
If you're into super high fantasy and magic and sorcery in particular.
Yeah. For whatever reason, it's when I just hear the name, I will often like momentarily get it mixed up with Discworld, and I think it's just having to do with like disc wheel fantasy kind of a thing, and I'm like, no, like they're nothing that's like similar.
They're nothing alike.
No, they're not even close.
Wheel of Time's pretty tight. It's
Yeah.
good. I mean, it's I don't know, I guess standard fantasy, standard high fantasy.
Yeah.
I don't want to like give away too much, although there's so much to it that'd be hard to be super spoilery.
So one of the basic premises is in that setting is that only women can practice magic.
Nice.
Well, at least to start with.
Well, right, but that's the premise anyway.
So there's this group of women called I always feel like I say this wrong. It's like Aes Sedai or Aes Sedai or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I always said Aes Sedai. And this is only females, and they can wield what's called the power, or was it called the source? No, that's all of it's called the source. Whatever.
It's
they
the
can
touch.
wield magic
Because they got the touch. They got the power.
But like any man who can't, so like there's like two halves to magic. There's a male side and female, but the male side is like super corrupt and tainted because of stuff that happened way in the past. Blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever a man shows that he can wield magic, basically these sorceresses go out and hunt them down.
Yeah.
And either kill them outright or capture them and like imprison them forever. Because the man will always go crazy after a certain amount of time, just because that side of magic, by touching it so much and interacting with it, they just go crazy.
Oh, it like has a corrupting force to it.
So this isn't spoilery because it's literally the prologue to the first book. There was this guy called the Dragon Lutheran. He was like the most powerful wizard of all time. He beats the Dark Lord, but the Dark Lord like pulls a fast one on him, and in his last move corrupts the male side of all magic. So knowing that eventually the guy who beat him would go mad, and basically that guy goes mad and like kills everybody.
This is very Dark Sun.
Yeah, and then like thousands and thousands, maybe even millions of years pass, and allegedly this Lutheran dragon guy keeps getting reincarnated, and eventually we have the main character Rand al'Thor, who is allegedly the reincarnation of the dragon, and he can wield magic, and this one sorceress takes notice in him and is like, I gotta kind of hide you, and I gotta make sure you're not dangerous. And at the same time, a lot more men are starting to be able to touch the source.
Ooh.
And there's like the Dark Lord's kind of coming back. It's like pretty standard stuff. But here's the thing.
Sounds amazing.
Lots of really good characters. Sometimes there's too many characters, but the main characters are all pretty good and have interesting arcs. And even Rand isn't even the most interesting character half the time, and he's the main protagonist. His like friends and some of the other sorceresses are way more interesting than him. But they all have cool backstories and arcs throughout the 12 or 13 books, something like that.
14.
Wow.
Is it 14? I can't
14.
remember. It's a long series.
Yeah.
That
And
is
not a funny story, but the guy who wrote it died before it was finished. But he was terminally ill and he knew, so he left all his manuscripts and stuff and like handpicked the guy. And the author who finished it, the guy who started it was named Robert Jordan, and the guy he picked to finish it is a guy named Brandon Sanderson, who in his own right is quite a prolific fantasy author and is also quite good. And he did a great job finishing it.
Yeah.
I will say, anybody who's reading the series, first 4 or 5 books, good, really good. The middle's a bit of a slog and gets bogged down, in my opinion. It feels like nobody's really moving anywhere, nothing's really happening. But I would say the last 4 or 5 books are really, really good as well. It's pretty fast moving as it rushes towards the end. You just got to kind of get through that middle patch of books, in my opinion. And other people who I've spoken to feel about the same way as I do in regards to the middle books. Kind of just, the author is a bit wordy, particularly, and here we go back to our other conversation. He gets a bit too descriptive.
Yeah.
Is right, like describing every little piece of furniture or clothing, and it's just like, okay, it's a bit.
Oh wow!
You're taking up pages and pages describing this guy's desk.
So clearly, it must be the Dragonlance route, where at one point it was a D&D game, and he's just describing everything to throw the players off, so that they're not like, oh well, that piece of clothing's important because it's described more, or this rock is important. Or, this piece of glassware is important. Yes.
I was walking through Barnes & Noble yesterday, and I walked by the Dragonland stuff, and there wasn't a lot of it. But those are also a couple. I read a couple Dragon books. I know you.
Yeah,
that was super into.
That was when I started getting into reading fiction.
That was when I was like 8th grade. Another English teacher of mine, Mr. Zaya, if you're out there, he encouraged me to do a lot of reading and challenged me to read thicker, denser, and more difficult books, because I think, at least I hope, he saw something in me that I enjoyed it, and I liked fantasy and writing and reading. So
yeah,
I remember he encouraged me to. He's like, he wanted me. He didn't make me, but he encouraged me to read Salem's Lot when I was in 8th grade. It was really encouraging. So teachers out there, encourage your students. They'll remember it, hopefully.
The showrunner for Wheel of Time, to kind of bring the conversation back a little bit, is Rafe Judkins, Survivor, who was on one of the Survivor things. I don't know if he won or not, but perhaps more relevant was a writer for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, okay.
Whoa!
I never watched that show.
As well as season 3 of Chuck.
That's a show I never watched.
It's
all right.
And then earlier this year also did some writing work for Uncharted.
Like the game?
For the film.
What film?
Which one?
There's going to be an Uncharted film.
Is Nathan Fillion Nathan Drake?
I don't know.
Should be.
Is
Nathan Fillion should be in everything.
I mean, yes.
Oh wait, it's an origin story for Nathan Drake, starring Tom Holland.
Oh,
who's Tom Holland?
I think it's Spider-Man.
Oh, it's Spider-Man.
It's so it's a real origin story.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it is basically the video game version of the young was it the Adventures of Young Indiana Jones or something? The early Adventures of Indiana Jones or whatever. But
Time, who will see if that'll be good or not. Yeah. I mean, ever since Game of Thrones, other people have been looking for, like, we need to get on this fantasy train. If you remember a couple years, MTV did Sword of Shannara.
What?
I don't remember that.
If
you're familiar with the Shannara, then I don't either, but I remember this because it was in my periphery of news. But Shannara is another series of fantasy books. Terry Brooks might be the author. I can't remember. But MTV tried doing a series on it, and I don't think it was. It was kind of like.
I cannot imagine that it would be any good.
I cannot imagine MTV trying to do anything serious. I can't imagine them succeeding at doing.
I don't know. I
didn't
serious.
Watch it. But Amazon also signed some sort of Middle Earth series as well.
Who's doing?
Oh, nice.
Who's doing the Name of the Wind series? Do you know?
Name of the Wind?
Yeah, Patrick Rothfuss's the Kingkiller Chronicles. Because Lin-Manuel Miranda's doing the music for it. I know that.
Nice.
Name of the Wind TV show.
Gonna be good. If Lynn's involved in it, it's gonna be good.
At
least music.
So as of January, Sam Raimi was set to direct it.
Okay.
I
just was curious what either online.
Oh, it's a film.
Film? I thought it was going to be a TV series.
Feature film adaptation of The Name of the Wind.
Huh.
Lionsgate will produce the film.
Huh.
Interesting.
Uh-oh. So the script is being written by Lindsay Beer.
I don't know who that is.
Who served as a writer on Transformers: The Last Night.
Awesome.
Oh God. Seriously? Okay.
Her other upcoming
Showtime.
So this is also interesting. Her other upcoming projects include movie adaptation of Patrick Ness's Chaos Walking, starring Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley, to be released next year, and a forthcoming adaptation of Dungeons and Dragons projected for 2021. I thought we were done with Dungeons and Dragons films.
I thought that we
after how horrible the Dungeons and Dragons film was.
No, there isn't a Dungeons and Dragons film.
Wasn't Marlon Wayans in that movie?
And Jeremy Irons,
who really camps it up, if I remember correctly.
Yes, because he
I say there isn't a Dungeons and Dragons movie.
No, because the movie was that bad that he was like, I might as well just ham it up as much as I can.
Awesome.
Yeah. There was in fact a sequel that had nothing to do with the prior film that was like a made-for-TV movie that actually felt more like, it was super campy, but it felt more like Dungeons and Dragons, where they did things like they botched a teleportation and somebody's arm got cut, or somebody's arm got stuck in a wall. And so they had to amputate the arm because they were stuck. Kind of a thing. It had dark mantles. They're the weird like tentacle blanket things that hang on and look like stalactites.
D&D is a bit too goofy, I think, to translate to film.
It depends. It really depends.
It depends on the game. There's a million different campaigns going on, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like
I think you could do a Dragonlance series. I would say you could do something in Ravenloft, but that's just watch Bram Stoker's Dracula, basically. or watch Frankenstein or The Wolfman, and really you have everything you need for Ravenloft. But a lot of the Forgotten Realms or Greyhawk stuff is just so.
Lord of the Rings. There you go. There's your D&D movie.
I mean, Lord of the Rings, Conan. I mean, Conan is basically the setting for like Greyhawk, because it's supposed to be sword and sorcery and like darker fantasy kind of a thing.
Lord of the Rings is like that's the party of adventurers.
Yes.
Yep.
Fighting orcs, fighting monsters, and
I mean, it's also
they've been assembled by a wizard.
Elf,
right?
Like Dark Crystal.
Yep.
Would count. I would say
Neverending Story.
Yes.
Labyrinth all count.
Yes.
Labyrinth especially counts. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah. But yeah. So Wheel of Time. No word. I think it's.
Oh, World of Warcraft movie. There you go.
You know what? Yes. Absolutely yes.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it's okay. It's a passable fantasy.
It's better than the IMDb rating from critics. Gives the impression.
I really enjoyed it, and as someone who does not play WoW,
like I'm not saying it's a 90% fresh.
No,
but it's better than the like 12 or 20% or whatever that it has.
No, it's like for me it was like a 5 or 6 out of fine.
It's a 6.7 out of 10.
I mean, it was an
Right?
average.
Right?
Whatever.
Isn't that the IGN score for Heroes of the Storm?
Too much water.
6.7 out of 10.
Too much water.
Yeah.
What's their Wind Waker? Yeah, it was their Wind Waker review. Was
too much water. Yeah,
like 8 out of 10. Too much water or something like that.
Yeah. So Warcraft would be 6.7 out of 10.
Too many orcs.
Too many orcs. Yeah. Yeah. So
to this day, the fake orcs better acting than the actual people in that movie.
Except Khadgar.
No, worse. I couldn't stand him. So annoying.
So just like the game, right? They kept it
Worst
true to
wizard.
form.
Worst wizard. Can we just talk about how terrible all this ultra powerful people in WoW actually are?
No, because
never do anything right, never saves anybody, makes us do everything and save the world every time. He's useless. All he ever does is teleport people out of danger. That's his only use ever. Malfurion always gets his butt kicked by everybody, but apparently is still like the arch druid of the universe, and everybody respects him for some reason. I don't know why.
You done?
No, Tyrande.
All right, we got to cut this because we got to cover this week in 8-Bit Adventures and actually talk about our stuff.
Yes.
Speaking of being so powerful that they don't do anything themselves, like a dungeon master. But so this week in 8-Bit Adventures. All right, so we got a new comic this week.
Yes.
There will likely not be a comic next week, as I will be away this weekend, taking care of some stuff. And since I have stuff to do for Friday, I will not have time to get a comic done, as I will be crunching to get other pieces of artwork done. So,
yes.
So 2-41 Judgment.
Yes.
Not a whole lot happening, but you know.
But like, I'm still like, so that was her just coming through the fog, and she's ready for her judgment. And I'm wondering if the chairman stalled enough for her parents to come. And if he did,
okay, so I can answer this question because it won't be a spoiler,
okay.
But the stalling has not happened yet.
Thank you. That's what I was like. Did he have to like that was my question. I'm like, did the stalling happen like off stage, or is it gonna be are we gonna see him sputter?
Neither. There will be a much more dramatic sense of stalling. And I will leave it at that. Yeah.
I cannot wait.
Yes.
I'm just in love with how just strong Melody looks. She's just like, nope, I just kicked that challenge's butt, and I am just ready. Like, tell me how I did.
Yeah.
Because she knows she rocked it, and she wants to hear it.
Yes.
Because she totally rocked it.
Yep.
And I'm can't wait.
Can't
wait.
So, in 2 weeks,
yes.
I think. Yes. Yeah. Because then the week after that, I will be away again. So my goal is to have some sort of buffer.
Why you do this?
Why do I do this? Vacation is why I do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs a vacation.
He's need a vacation. I only get 2 weeks, and I'm taking one of them since I already took the other one. And it wasn't much of a vacation for the previous one. So, but yes. So yeah, we will. It will be in very dramatic fashion. The stalling for more time.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So, tomorrow, October 4th, is going to be 8-Bit Adventures Game Night.
Yay!
I'm still looking into some games on PC that I can play. Because I realized that I have been going ham on getting Nintendo games and not so much anything on Steam. And really the only Blizzard game I've been playing is Warcraft. And, doing daily quests is not very exciting for a stream or whatever. So
no, and when you don't have a capture card, it's
yeah, no capture card yet. And I'm not gonna do the placing a webcam in front of the Switch and just straight up recording the screen, which I have.
But we can talk later about that capture card. Yeah,
sure, but it's still an issue of money right now.
Yeah.
So anyway,
a thing.
So it will likely be Earthlock, formerly known as Earthlock Festival of Magic, which is some kind of smaller, kind of indie sort of RPG. I played the original incarnation, and then apparently like they completely redid the game despite it being a single player experience, and like completely changed it, and a lot of people are saying it's much better now, which I didn't think it was bad to begin with, but sure. But what's funny was they actually relisted it as a different game on Steam. So like they told you like just uninstall the old one, reinstall this one. Like if you had the old one installed, you got the newer version for free, kind of a thing. It's weird, but yeah. So I will be playing that, and I will basically be starting over because I didn't have that much progress in my initial playthrough. So, Earthlock.
Fun.
Festival of Magic.
Yay!
Festival of Magic.
Yeah. The interesting thing with that game is that there's, like, at least in the original one, you basically swap between stances. So you had, like, either a ranged stance or a melee stance, or, like, a magic stance or a melee stance or something, and depending on which stance you were in, you got different abilities. So yeah, so that's that.
That's tomorrow night.
That is tomorrow night. Friday night is our first inaugural episode of Tales of Jemmora: The Kraken's Wake, which is we are dipping our toes into the realm of D&D live streaming. So we're going to take our bi-weekly D&D game, and we're going to share it with all of you, dear viewers, dear listeners.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
Maui. So it's a game that we've been playing for the past 2 years. It was previously...
Has it been 2 years already?
Yes. So the reason why it feels like we haven't really gotten anywhere in 2 years is, number one, remember, it started out as a monthly game.
Yeah.
So we were playing maybe once every like 6 weeks kind of a thing. At most of the time. But anyway, so the party is level 7.
We also restarted it.
No. That was prior to this campaign.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So you are referring to a different game, Courtney.
That's right.
So basically I'll do a little bit of a prologue when we start the game to get everybody caught up and to give a refresher kind of just the story so far. But long story short is all of the characters met on this island. The island has a bit of a mysterious past with some ruins and everything. They've investigated that stuff. Ancient Evil has been released, and now the party has to go do whatever they can while this Ancient Evil sleeps before becoming active again. In the hopes that they can then stop it when it reawakens. So
yeah, we're on damage control.
Fine.
Absolutely. The party has a magic boat, and it is a what I like to call a swashbuckling and sorcery adventure. Despite the fact that Josh hates pirates.
Hey, if all goes according to plan, I'll get to fight some right off the bat.
Probably.
Yeah. No, this is gonna be interesting.
If only because magic boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now this is gonna be really interesting because I don't know where we left off last time because I was helping my cousin get married.
Yeah, so and that's part of why there's going to be a sort of a little bit of a prologue to get 4 out of the 6 cast members up to speed with what happened.
Oh,
what
happened?
Were excused.
Jacob and moped around the boat for a while.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
No, Jacobin tried to get with the new cook.
No, Jacobin moped around the boat for a while.
You're the new cook, so definitely not.
You are
I'm
the
not
new
the
cook.
I'm not the cook.
You are the interim cook.
What happened?
Because current cook is out of commission for a while due to radiation burns.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Oh,
so
the last thing that happened was we basically found the pirate ship we were looking for.
Y'all gonna die from my cooking.
So for more information on this, come join us Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the stream will start. It will be a bit of a long stream. If you're used to watching D&D streams, it'll be, they're pretty standard for that. We will also be releasing it as a YouTube series, breaking it up into little chunks on a weekly basis, as well as an audio podcast, again, on a weekly basis. That'll come out at the same time as the YouTube videos. For those who don't have the data available to watch YouTube videos, or like to listen to stuff at work, like I do.
Use the company internet.
No,
I do.
No, LTE is better than the company internet.
Oof.
Because so many people are trying to use the company Wi-Fi. Because it's technically not the company Wi-Fi, it's like guest Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah.
Nope. Split the bandwidth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it'll be fun. One word of caution. So this it will be sort of rated M for mature. So we will not censor any language. It will have fantasy violence. There may be a little.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There may be some situations involving limbs getting lopped off or people's eyes getting poked out or something.
It will be graphic.
there may be some graphic violence portrayed. Granted, it will not be visual, it will all be spoken and stuff. But there may be sort of scary situations. I don't know.
I mean,
I'm just trying to think of all the
campaign?
I'm just trying to think of all the disclaimers and disclosures or whatever, because like without having to rip off Acquisitions Inc. saying like, warning, you are about to watch adults doing adult things, you have been warned. Which is great. Like it's a great disclaimer.
That is succinct and accurate.
Yes, but we may have something of our own to just put up as a disclaimer in front of it. But yeah, and if you're in Pittsfield, I think it's just Pittsfield, you will also be able to view the episodes. So similar to YouTube, you'll be able to view the episodes on local broadcast channel.
Yes.
Pittsfield Community Television. As a late night program.
Very late night.
Because again, yeah.
We are adults doing adult things.
We are adults doing adult things. You have been warned.
Yes.
So
finish up the city council meeting, and then at 2 a.m, it'll interrupt and be D&D.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know when it will.
I can tell you.
No, usually city council meetings just.
Objectively, our show will be better than the city council meetings. I can guarantee.
I can also guarantee that as well.
I didn't say they wouldn't be. I said
it will at least be more entertaining. I can guarantee you that. So for the cast and crew. So yours truly, one Sean Hayes, will be DMing this fine adventure. And we will have Josh and Courtney.
Hey.
Occasional guest on the podcast, Sean Robbins.
Yeah.
Occasional guest on the podcast, Matt Tucker. And Joey Rhinone IV. And Josh Carty, who watchers of the YouTube channel might recognize from our goofy horribly goofy Heroes of the Storm videos where we do things like, take Cho'Gall out for a run and just do rando things. Or pick weird comps.
Yeah.
As I believe he may have been part of the... Oh, no, I think he was the one that was missing.
Maybe
Our four healer team.
Best comp.
Our 4 support team. Yeah. Which sadly I don't have a VOD of, but that would have been a good one. But anyway.
That's what we should do on a game night one night. We should just get a group for heroes.
We could potentially.
Stream that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The computer can be booted up.
Yeah.
Like the actual computer.
But yeah. So as I believe I mentioned before, but I want to reiterate. So the actual stream itself for Tales of Jemmora, because it's a bi-weekly game, so we play every other week. The stream itself will be every other week. And I will look into like a rebroadcast thing for people that miss it. I don't know if it will be feasible because, as far as I know, rebroadcasting on Twitch is you like physically play the video on your computer and then stream that. Because I don't think, unless you're partnered, there is a way to rebroadcast stuff automatically. But I will look into it. So that may be another option for people if you want to watch the whole thing. But as I said, we'll have it available in other formats on a weekly basis that are chunked up. So, anything else that we want to mention about that?
No, I don't think so.
It's pretty straightforward. So
yeah,
D&D stream.
So watch it.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Please,
watch it. Share
please
it, talk
watch
about it.
Yes.
Like,
if you want to learn more about the campaign setting, you can head on over to Jemmora.com. Jemmora.com. That's a website that we have set up for that. We will have information about the show and everything when the show finally goes up and is released and everything. The website will be updated to reflect all that. But so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff will also be featured on 8-Bit Adventures as well. So you can do your one-stop shopping there. So
yeah.
With that, why don't we head on over into our quest log? Because this week we're talking about fighters. All right, time for the strong man.
That's right.
So, fighters are one of sort of what are considered like the core classes in D&D, one of the staples. In the original sort of Red Box series, it was known as Fighting Man.
What? Really?
Yes.
What?
Yes. It was
Fighting Man.
It was Fighting Man, Magic User, and I think like Elf and Dwarf, or something like that. They weren't races and classes. They were like 4 character archetypes. And Elf was like a combination of Fighting Man and Magic User, and Dwarf was like Fighting Man plus some other weird stuff. But anyway. So fighter, considered one of the core things, so sort of one of the archetypal, where it's encompasses any sort of character that is a soldier or a man-at-arms or a warrior, or really just it's great for if you want to pick something that like doesn't really fit anywhere else as like a strong archetype, and you can rebuild it however you want.
Oh, okay.
So, with that, basically you get a number of fighting styles. So you pick just different fighting styles for weaponry. So you can pick like you want to go on the defensive option. You want to like protect other people. You want to focus on 2-weapon fighting, 2-handed weapon fighting, 1-handed weapon fighting, archery. I believe fighters are the only class to get access to all of them.
Wow.
Like rangers and paladins also get fighting styles, but they get access to a subset of them.
Okay.
I mean, the whole deal with the fighter is basically where any armor you can use, any weapon.
Yep.
And you can fight any style. Like you are a master at the martial.
Yes.
A master at beating people up.
Yeah. You're master at fighting.
Yep. And I think over the course of the fighter's career, I don't think they get much else. Actually, I stand corrected. So fighters also get the most. If you go all the way up and level up to level 20 as a fighter, you get the most attacks in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So
Most
I think it's by level
attacks?
19
round,
or so. When you take the attack action, you get 4 attacks. So yeah, at level 5 it goes to 2, and then like at level 11 it goes to 3.
11.
Wait, so
like
attack, bonus attack?
if you use 2 weapons, yes. Yeah.
And then action surge,
and then action surge, which is
attack.
Yeah. So another core. So sort of a bunch of the core things for fighters that they get right off the bat. Second wind is another one to improve their staying power. So that is as a bonus action, you can just regain hit points.
Okay.
And it's based on your fighter level and like a D10
and your hit die.
Yeah. And that's usable like after short rest, and then action surge, which doesn't require any action to activate, and it's just you get another action and bonus action if applicable.
Yeah.
Attacks. 10
Yes.
attacks.
Yeah. I will tell you as
attacks.
As a DM, I have to
of a party of including 3 fighters.
I have to shape my encounters around knowing how many attacks around that the fighters can get off. Specifically, I've run into this. Like, say I have a wizard in the encounter, and the fighter comes up and basically kills them in one round just by action surging. And
technically, wouldn't they also have attacks? Technically, wouldn't they have 11 because they always have a reaction?
You can't use reaction.
Typically, you cannot. Well, unless somebody triggers it on your turn.
Or like an attack of opportunity type of reaction.
Yes, but that doesn't happen on your turn.
But just in your standard actions.
Oh, in your physical turn. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I say like that
within a round.
There's a little bit of a weird thing because some characters have abilities that lets them use reactions on their turn, but fighters typically don't have that.
Well, I was thinking within the round, not within their physical turn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean...
Not within their 6 seconds, but within the round, they can get off 11
within
hits.
your turn, a level 20 fighter can get 10 attacks.
10 attacks.
Yeah.
10 attacks.
We're talking, that's...
Level 20.
Yeah, but still, level 20 is like...
Not a lot of campaigns get to that.
Yeah.
I've known some people who have done 5. Like...
Yeah.
I mean, that happens, but most games break up pretty early.
I mean, I've known some people who have done like an epic level game.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah. Like, and so that's like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying your normal game doesn't go that long, but it's possible. But even getting to level 11, which is definitely feasible, I mean, that's 3 attacks.
3 attacks.
Per turn. If you action surge more, and then by then I think you're getting 2 actions.
I think it's level
per
11.
Rest. So you can action surge
short
twice
rest
in a row.
or
action surge
short
and
rest.
Action surge.
Fighters get all their stuff back on short rest.
And second wind are both short rest.
Wow.
Extra attack 2 is at level 11. Extra attack 3 is their capstone at level 20.
Wow.
They also get Indomitable, which is, I think if they fail a save, they can re-roll it.
Is that like if they get like a 1, they get to re-roll it? And with somebody else,
it's just if you fail, you can re-roll the save.
Oh, okay. Save. Okay.
You get the first one at level 9. And
wait, who has the feat that you can re-roll 1s or 1s and 2s?
So I think what you're thinking of with that is, I don't think it's a feat. It's Great Weapon Fighting, which is a fighting style.
Okay.
And it's only damage dice.
Don't gnomes get a... Gnomes or halflings get a thing?
Halflings get a thing where... I mean, it's basically lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
now, you might be thinking of two-handed fighting, or two-handed weapon fighting, where you get to re-roll your 1s and 2s on damage.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Great Weapon Fighting is if you're using a weapon in 2 hands. Yeah, you roll 1s or 2s on your damage roll. You can re-roll them. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of, because I was like, no. I know that somebody like in campaign 1 of Vox Machina with like I had something where they could reroll 1s and 2s. So that's a
So with fighters, they get a lot of attacks. They don't get much else. That's
Well,
kind of
they have staying power between Indomitable, Second Wind,
but I would say compared to most of the other classes, they don't get they don't have a lot of utility.
Well, here's the other thing.
To hit things.
They also get additional ability score increases.
Yes.
And I think they get 2 extra. I believe rogues get 1 extra. So that's either 2 more increases or it's 2 more feats. So you can take feats to either shore up your defenses. You can take feats to get more skills, improve your damage output, kind of a thing. But yeah. So
I mean, your basic, and this is considering all the subclasses, but your basic fighter is pretty vanilla as far as what
the base class doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles to it, which I think is fine because then
I think that's fine.
They get a lot of passive things like your
yes,
crits are lowered, like and you can roll a 19 to crit.
Well, that's a subclass.
Oh,
that's a subclass feature. Yeah, so we'll get into that.
Isn't that something Percy did where he critted on a 19 or somebody?
That is something related to the gunslinger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, it's related to the gunslinger,
because gunslinger is a fighter subclass.
Yes. So,
okay.
Which why don't we get into them? So, I mean, and one of the reasons why fighter doesn't get a lot of bells and whistles, but is very effective at the ones that they do get, is it's often considered to be sort of a less technical class to play, which makes it easier for people that are new to the game to get into.
It's a good introductory class, like for your first character.
Yeah, because it's
pretty simple.
It's less.
My first character was a rogue.
It's less complicated.
Rogues are pretty simple too.
Rogues are pretty simple as well, because you get less choices than fighters do.
Yeah.
But yeah. So and then as far as sort of the introductory archetypes, there's the champion fighter, which is based around increasing your ability to critically hit. And then sort of your capstone is when you're less than half your maximum hit points, you regain hit points every turn.
Oh.
Yeah, you have some sort of like pseudo regeneration.
Okay.
And that's basically it. So very, not very complicated, very effective. The other one that's really good for new players is the Brute, which is an Unearthed Arcana one. Hasn't been published yet, but basically the whole point of that one is you get just a flat damage increase to damage, or a flat bonus to damage.
I'm like a flat damage increase to damage.
Yeah. It's similar to like the Barbarian's damage bonus when raging. I think it pretty much scales at the same rate too, and it's just you just get that, but you don't get a whole lot of other features. So, very simple subclass. For folks that are a little more interested in some more tactical options, you have the Battle Master, which gives you a whole bunch of maneuvers to choose from, and what are known as superiority dice, which are used to fuel those maneuvers. That's if you want to play a little more tactically like 4th edition fighters.
I think Battle Master is the more interesting. I mean, obviously,
it is certainly more interesting. It allows for a lot more customization.
Also the more useful.
It depends.
Personally,
it depends.
I would say it probably depends on what you're doing with it. Right?
I mean, if you're doing a crit fishing kind of a thing, Champion's certainly pretty good.
I mean, you have to.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Champion also pairs really well with Barbarian, because Barbarian gets extra damage when they crit.
I've considered going it with my Paladin.
Yeah,
Try to crit fish for those smites,
Yep.
But yeah.
So I mean, Battlemaster gets maneuvers like
That's just cool because some of those maneuvers are pretty interesting. Like you can make somebody else attack on your turn.
I was gonna say for all those Warlord fans from 4th edition that haven't gotten their class, Commander Strike is basically the old Warlord Strike type stuff where you command somebody else to attack in your place.
One of the groups I ran, the Warriors move was the Warrior. Like this as well. The Fighter, I always say that in WoW too. I call the Warriors fighters. They're basically your Warriors, people. Their move was always to get the Hunter Ranger to hit Command Strike Hunter Ranger every time because they had Colossus Slayer and Hunter's Mark. Like they were just getting so much damage. It was just so efficient. Like that was just their move every single time.
Yep. There's goading attack, so for your taunting mechanics.
Okay.
Let's see. Sweeping attack is kind of an AoE type of ability.
It's not a very good one, but it is one. Parry is good.
Parry's good. Reducing damage taken.
Riposte.
Riposte is pretty good. What was I looking at? Oh, Rally, again, if you want to do a Warlord kind of a build, that gives temporary hit points.
Okay.
Yeah, and then a lot of the other stuff is related to either special maneuvers, so like tripping, disarming, distracting, feinting, or there's a lot of maneuverability type of maneuvers.
There's like a leaping strike.
Yeah. Yeah, lunging, maneuvering, evasive footwork, pushing. Yeah. So
yeah, if I were to play
just general roughhousing.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of options. It's nice.
Yeah, and that's basically
a bit more utility.
the focus of that subclass is you just get more maneuvers. Your dice get better, and you get more dice to spend. And then the other sort of tactical option that's a little more complicated is the Eldritch Knight, which is sort of a battle mage kind of a thing. Is fully armored fighter that now has access to basically abjuration and evocation magic. So magic definitely fit for combat.
So Eldritch Blast?
No, that's not a wizard spell.
Oh.
No. But you could get like Firebolt, Fireball, Shield.
Just burn everything.
At 7th level, when you cast a cantrip, you get a free bonus attack. You can make a weapon attack as a bonus action.
What?
Yeah.
When you cast
when you cast a cantrip as a bonus action, you get to make a weapon attack. Singular weapon attack.
Yeah, but that can still do a bit of damage. Like depending on what that weapon is.
And then at 18th level, it's when you cast a spell, you get to make a weapon attack as a bonus action.
Jeez.
That's better than the cantrip.
Well, yeah, but I mean, one's at 7th level, one's at 18th level.
Yeah.
I
mean, using a cantrip and a weapon attack is like dual wielding. Essentially, you're going to do about the same damage.
A little bit,
or similar, close to.
It depends, right? Because
cantrips hit harder.
Because cantrips scale with character level.
That's also true.
Yeah.
But
let's see.
Your weapon damage is going to go up because of your modifiers are probably going to go up as well. And it also depends, I guess.
Yeah. Also, perhaps one of the coolest things about Eldritch Knight is, so like the 4th edition Sword Mage, is you bond with a weapon, and
does it speak to you?
No, it's not an intelligent weapon. It's you store the weapon in an extra dimensional space, and you can just call it to you.
So you are text blading it.
Yeah, once you have that weapon bonded to yourself, you can't be disarmed of it unless you're incapacitated. And as long as it's on the same plane of existence, you can call it to you from wherever.
Oh, wow.
And you can have multiple bonded weapons. So that's where, for example, in Josh's game, we went to a casino that did a weapons check and basically like confiscating weapons and stuff at the door or whatever. If we had an Eldritch Knight,
I see where this is going.
You just leave it back at the inn, and then if stuff goes down like it's going to, you just go like, and you just get it. You just literally pull it out of thin air.
Fortunately for me, none of you guys can do that.
No, but thankfully for me is my character is a living weapon. It might not be a very effective one, but I am still armed. There are 3 other archetypes that are available. There's the Arcane Archer, which in my opinion should have been a Ranger archetype.
I would agree on that. Why would you be an Archer?
And it's basically it's kind of a blend of like Battlemaster and Eldritch Knight in that it's solely focused on archery, where you use different kinds of magical arrows, but sort of like Battlemaster as you pick which arrows you get to learn. And they do different effects. So it might be like an arrow that enchants people, or an arrow that explodes, or one that entangles people, kind of a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you get spell like abilities. You can curve arrows. There's the Cavalier, which is if you're all about that jousting and mounted combat.
You'd have to be in a pretty specific campaign for that.
Yeah, thankfully, all of the class features, almost all of the class features, no, correction, all of them work whether you are mounted or not. So they're around that theme, but you don't have to be mounted to benefit from it, which I think is a good design decision, and what marks like if something is useful outside of a very limited scope. So for example, like you get Ferocious Charger at 15th level, which is you can run down your foes, which obviously better if you're mounted, but it still says whether you're mounted or not. So like even if you're just on foot, you can run people down and like knock them over and overrun them. So yeah, but it's a very tanky kind of defender subclass, so focused on protecting other people. And then there's the Samurai, so introducing a little bit of sort of East Asian flair to the fighter class, because there's a very specific mythos to the lore and story surrounding samurai. Then there is like knights. So you get stuff where you can give yourself weapon advantage and temporary hit points. You get bonuses on persuasion and you gain proficiency in wisdom saving throws for having self-control, because you are an elegant courtier.
Okay, sure.
Rapid strikes and sort of, it's almost like a cross between some of the tougher elements of barbarian along with fighter, where at 18th level you can delay dying to fulfill to make your last stand.
When I think of a samurai, I would have them, I don't know, I haven't looked at this one too much, but I would hope it has a lot of like ways to evade attacks or enhance your attacks. That's when I think samurai, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
So fighting spirit and rapid strike both enhance your attacks. So fighting spirit is, as a bonus action, you can give yourself advantage on weapon attack rolls.
Okay.
And when you do so, you get temporary hit points. And you gain more temporary hit points as you level up. Rapid strike is when you take the attack action and you have advantage, you can forego advantage to make an additional weapon attack.
Okay.
As part of the same action. So basically you can so by 15th level as a fighter, you would have 3 attacks. You can use your bonus action to give yourself advantage on all of those attack rolls.
Oh man.
And then
Oh
say,
man.
actually, I'm not going to take that advantage every time.
You can only do rapid strike once per turn, but basically it gives you up to an extra attack every turn. So a level 20 samurai can make 5 attacks.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Without an action surge.
6 if you dual wield. Do you have to use it two-handed?
No.
Or can you go?
But if you you can't do the offhand attack if you use your bonus action for fighting.
Oh yeah. You're right. I'm gonna say
you can if you can
Musashi.
say if you're against a prone opponent and you have advantage against them anyway.
Right.
So yeah.
Or if you get advantage if you use flanking. Any other week. You're missing some subclasses, I think, there, sir.
Am I?
Oh yeah.
Am I missing Gunslinger? Is that the only one?
Well, no, Purple Dragon Knight.
Oh, that's right. That's because that's in the Sword Coast Adventurers guide, if I'm correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brute.
We talked about the Brute.
What?
Did you say? Oh,
So the Purple Dragon Knight is also a very sort of leader support kind of fighter role where it's about providing sort of it's kind of like a weird blend between like paladin, a little bit of warlord, a little bit of fighter.
So that's a paladin, a smidge of fighter.
So it has almost a very like combat bard feel to it as well. Again, without magic though. So
Knights.
We talked about the knights.
No. Eldritch Knight. I'm trying to think of where Knight appears.
It was a UA.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So what do they get? They also have stuff with mounted combat.
Yeah. I think that may have turned into Cavalier.
Maybe. They're very defensive. They're very much, I think, I'm looking like defend, foil attacks that are targeting allies, hold the line. You can harass and slow enemies.
Yeah.
They also have rapid strike.
That's weird.
Yeah. Well, samurai is just a knight, but from Japan.
Pretty much.
Essentially. I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm just making a broad stroke and boiling it down.
It fulfills the same sort of role.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're also a little bit of an upper class.
Right.
Kind of, if I remember correctly. And if I'm not, let me know. Please let me know, because I don't want to assume incorrectly.
Sharpshooter was one you missed. These all came out on the same UA.
Oh, yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, this was one of the first UAs.
Yeah, so you know why I didn't think of them? Because they're not in D&D Beyond. Yep. Yeah, that was back when
and like you said, I do consider Gunslinger a subclass because I think it's, even though it's not official, I think it's used widely enough and popularized enough by Critical Role that
so Gunslinger is you get to use guns. You get to make guns because you can't buy them in most campaign settings.
You can't buy it.
And it really plays up kind of the sort of more Wild West sort of trick shots and stuff. One of the things I will note is that typically a lot of the fighter subclasses will get sort of non-combat stuff at one of the levels, and the Gunslinger didn't seem to.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
So, because it's a way to just like flesh out the fighters a little bit so that they're not solely combat oriented. I mean, that's why like samurai get bonuses to like persuasion and wisdom saves. Battlemaster will actually get proficiency with certain tools as part of that. Champion, I think, gets some skill proficiencies. I mean, Eldritch Knight gets the sword bond thing, so I mean that's cool utility right there. Let's Let's see if I'm missing anything that's in Beyond. So we got Eldritch Knight, Purple Dragon Knight. Yeah, Purple Dragon Knight's very defense oriented. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So
it's also very specific. They come from like a specific place in the Forgotten Realms.
Yes,
like
and it's like a specific
kingdom.
company. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's specific knights from a specific kingdom.
Yeah. So,
Cool.
so yeah, a lot of so traditionally a lot of the fighter stuff is focusing on like being a big, bulky defender, fighter, tanky person.
You
to
want
protect your
strength
allies.
and constitution.
I mean, if you're gonna play that role, yes. And to a certain extent, you might want wisdom as well, so that way you don't get mind controlled and then turned on the rest of your party.
Which is my strategy to deal with the fighters.
Oh my gosh.
Thankfully,
because nothing else works.
I think one of the fighters has, because I think Barleth has wisdom as his dump stat.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one I worry about. Because the other two actually have decent wisdom scores. Yeah. So the
fighter,
dwarf champion, I worry about.
When you're a fighter, you expect to be up in front, expect to be getting in the nitty gritty of the fighting, expect to be getting hit or attacked a lot.
If you're going sort of the defender route kind of thing, because you can build an archer.
Defender.
Yeah,
you can, but why? Even if you're an offensive fighter, not an archer, if you're focusing on melee weapons, you're still going to be up in there.
Well, yeah.
And you're probably, even if you want to focus on offensive, you're probably going to fall in the role of tank just because of the nature of the class itself. You're going to probably have the best armor or close to the best armor class out of your party, more than likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because you can build sort of a quicker, dexterous
fighter. You can build dex fighter, yeah. If you want to use smaller weapons, you can go dex.
Because you can use finesse weapons. You can be a ranged one. It's the only thing that's separating you from the ranger at that point is like if you pick up Outlander or another survival-oriented background.
You're missing the magic.
You are missing magic, which a lot of folks are, in exchange, you get a lot of extra attacks per round.
Yeah, exactly. That's the trade-off.
An action surge, and you do get some self-reliability.
Actually, now thinking about it.
Now that he's thinking about it.
No, because being able to shoot off a bunch of arrows
in
a round would be super useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's really, it boils down to just the extra attacks. Because rangers only get extra attack once.
I mean,
and that's base ranger.
Here's how you solve that. You just pop into ranger for a level or two to get Hunter's Mark.
You need 2 levels of ranger to get first level spells.
Okay, so you pop in for a couple levels.
Yeah. But then you're not getting 4 attacks per round.
I think that's fine. 3 is sufficient.
I'd rather take the extra attack if I'm gonna be fighter.
I'm just thinking through it in my head.
If I were to play a fighter, I would want to attack.
Yeah.
So
you get more.
I don't know.
You get more value out of that than because only taking 2 levels of ranger, you only get 2 first level spell slots.
Right, but okay, that's also dependent on your campaign because it depends on how many combats a day you're doing, right?
Yeah. I'm just saying the average damage. Because, assuming at level 20, if you hit with that 4th attack...
It's a D6, so 4 damage is the average on that.
Because Hunter's Mark damage only applies once per turn.
Really?
I believe so.
Wow, I don't think I've played it that way.
Yeah, it's...
I believe that is correct.
Might
from
be.
what I know about it.
That's dumb if it is. Rangers do suck if that's the case.
No, it's on every attack.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever you hit with a weapon attack.
I was gonna say Rangers would be worthless if that were the case, if it only applied once per turn.
Yeah.
Because that's really, honestly, one of your main sources of damage is your counters.
Yeah.
That should just be a feature, not a spell.
I agree. That's what we talked about last week.
This.
Yeah. I said the same exact thing.
Yeah, the more I think about it, it's just
I can't wait for us to discuss the Ranger, because
me and Courtney will just walk away and let you talk for an hour.
No, I love you both, but I cannot have that.
I am a mood when talking about the Ranger. So
yeah.
But anyway,
no, seriously.
So if you don't want to deal with a lot of that Ranger stuff, right? Yeah, going fighter is a decent backup option. In second edition, Rangers were actually, like, you could argue Rangers were a subclass of fighter. So the way it worked in second edition was classes had ability score requirements and racial requirements.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember some people saying, like,
it was basically like you could shoot for Ranger, but if you didn't make the requirements, you could just be a regular fighter instead.
Yeah,
that was how it worked.
You're probably not going to see a lot of archer fighters.
Probably not, because I think when people think archers, they think Rangers.
Yeah.
Or rogues, you know.
Yeah.
I don't. I only think, but that's just me.
Because I think people want to, like, if they're doing range stuff, they want to sneak around, they want to ambush and snipe.
Yeah.
But you can do it if you want to be more of like a battlefield archer kind of a thing. You can do that.
I know we're not there yet. Is there a stealthy Ranger subclass?
We will talk about that on the Rangers one.
There are a couple.
I was just curious.
There are a couple. There's Gloomstalker, which is like subterranean, but yeah.
Fighter, I recommend Fighter to a lot of new players. Just
absolutely,
it's fairly simple and straightforward. There's not too much to think about or remember, and even what there is, it's not overly complicated.
And what's great is because
action surges take basically the second turn almost.
Like, it's effective.
Yeah.
It's relatively simple, so you don't have to spend more time knowing combat mechanics. You can focus instead on the art. And so then you can into character easier.
Lots of options too for character for fighter, I think.
Yeah.
I think because it's so, I don't mean this in a negative way, bland as a class.
I think it's so broad is a better way to put it.
That it lends itself to so many different backgrounds and different stories and directions it can go, which is for me always super interesting.
Yeah,
like things like Paladin and Cleric, you're kind of pigeonholed to an extent into the religious thing.
I mean, but you could have an entire party of fighters and nobody has to say,
I know.
You know. So
I basically run a game that is that.
Yeah.
More or less.
But that's one of the best things about it, though, is,
again, you could do that and it'd be pretty much fun. Depending on your DM.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up the week, as my computer's getting a little unhappy with me. So, thank you for watching and listening to the 8-Bit Adventures podcast. You can find this. Hang on. There we go. Podcast week on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. When we record our show podcast. If you want to see more stuff from 8-Bit Adventures, you can head over to 8bitadventures.com. That's 8-bitadventures.com. And over there you can find social media links to all the podcast streams and work that I do, as well as news about projects.
Yes.
If you like that, you want to support it, which would greatly appreciate your support. We greatly appreciate the support of all our current patrons.
Whoop, whoop.
Patreon.com patreon.com/8bitadventures. For those that are watching the stream or watching the video version of this podcast, the link is in the top right corner. Our opening and closing theme is One Up by Professor Shy Guy. You can find his work over at professorshyguy.bandcamp.com. So, with that, folks, we're going to peace out and prepare for Tales of Jemmora. So, join us for that on Friday at 7 p.m.
Do it.
We would love to see you there. We're hoping to have a big rollout for it. And we're super excited. So, have fun, happy gaming, and enjoy y'all's pie cake.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Let's get Kraken.
All right, we're done.
That's gonna be my my catchphrase.
Oh boy.
I was doing something the other day, and well, I was working on the opening theme, and somehow it just came to me, and I was like, oh, that's my catchphrase for the show, because we were trying to think of one, and I was like, I'm not gonna force it. I'm gonna think of something, and it's gonna work, and it's gonna be perfect. And I was like, let's get Kraken. That's just fantastic.
Oh boy.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're telling him about the
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going there apparently.
All right. So we are technically still streaming, but this is our post show.
Yes.
A little bit.
Ugh.
But yeah. See, my computer seems to have gotten out of its slump.
Funk.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funk.
Yeah, I have paid down my credit card quite a bit, so
Good.
I think when that machine finally gets back in stock, I'm just gonna pull the trigger, so to speak.
Do it.
Because the funny thing was, I tried looking on CyberPower and building a comparable machine. Josh,
yeah, we talked about that.
Ended up being more expensive.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
I'm still
price.
still
Way back
dropping
when I
frames.
did it back in 2011, it was pretty cheap.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't that much more expensive, but it was just it was like $200 more.
Mm-hmm.
And they were big boxy frames and everything. It was funny, was like in order to get certain features, it limited which chassis I could select. Yeah,
because of the wiring, the way they wire.
Yeah,
cooling and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, it is approaching 9:30, and it would be nice to actually end the show on time for once.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna head out. So, thank you for joining us, folks. And again, catch us on Friday, 7 p.m.
Yes.
Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
Do it.
Bring your pirate accents and your parrots and your hooks and your peg legs and your anchors.
Yeah.
So. Sure. Let's go there. Sure.
All right. Night, folks.
Yep. Bye.